Hey, PolishLynx, here we are back with Everlasting Summer, and Olga Dmitrievna has spoken through walkie-talkie. Let's check out what she said. Semyon, do you copy? Semyon? After a moment, I pushed the button and answered. Yeah. Semyon, so much is happening. Come back at once. What? What is it? What happened? I asked without much interest. The camp leader, the pioneers, the whole camp was left far behind. Not just a dozen kilometers, but much further. Everything that happened in the last few days lost any meaning, like a nightmare you start to forget. Now, when there was a real world in front of me, I had no other choice but to believe that when I reach the city, everything will end. Semyon, hurry! There's no time to explain. It's a disaster! The static grew stronger, drowning out the camp leader's voice. Will you go? Yulia asked, agitated. Where? Back there? No, why would I? But... You want me to go back? And no, what do you want? Really, what do I want? To get to the city. What I've been doing the whole day. Or something more global. To escape from this world. And what if something bad actually happened back there? That thought sent a flash of pain in my head. Something happened to Slavia, to Lena, to Liana, even to Alisa. And why is the question, why would I care, not bothering me now? But yeah, I do care. I got so much closer with them recently, I had really got used to the life of the camp. But what will happen to the city? Would it disappear as suddenly as it appeared? And what if everything went the way Yulia described? No, I should not allow it. The walkie-talkie hissed, but I didn't want it turned off, in case I heard something again. So, what have you decided? I had to make a decision. Alright, she said something bad is happening, so... Move your ass and go back! Okay. I forced myself to speak. What? Yulia was surprised. Okay, let's go back. Weren't you expecting the answer? She smiled cunningly. No, why do you think that? Because you always say that everything repeats itself after 7 days and I can't get out of here. So, we'll check it out. Oh, check it out. Shouldn't we check out the city for starters? It's up to you to decide. I looked at her intently. Something seemed to have changed in Yulia, but I couldn't understand what it was exactly. I've already decided, I mumbled. Then we should go. The cat girl made her way across the field in the direction of the forest with confidence. Hey, wait, where are you going? It will take less time. Less time. The thought started spinning in my head furiously, merging into one, which probably wouldn't be a pleasant one. So all this time, I caught up with her in 2 strides and grabbed her tail. Did you know all this time that I could go straight here without wandering for the whole day? Yulia hissed fiercely and bared her teeth. I let go of her tail. No. I mean, I might have known, but you have nothing to do here, there. In that city? Yeah. Why? I don't know. It shouldn't be that way. It's not right. I can't explain. I just know. I turned around and looked at the distant lights. I wonder, could things get any worse? It is not that everything is really bad right now, but what if that city doesn't disappear? And what's happening at the camp? What do Olga Dmitrievna's words mean? Should I still hesitate if I have already decided what to do? Alright, let's go. We walked through the forest almost all the way, crossing forest edges and fields just a few times. Yulia seemed extremely satisfied with something. Would you explain what is happening to you? Everything is just so unusual. Because it was not like this before? Everything repeated itself after 7 days? Yeah, I've heard it already. She just smiled in return. I wonder what happened back at the camp. Look! The camp gates were visible in the distance beyond the trees. We started to walk faster. I don't know what to expect. After Miku's road, I'm a little afraid. It was clear that something was wrong. Sovyonok seemed abandoned. I could assume that pioneers went to bed, but there were no lights except the street lamps. And why isn't Olga Dmitrievna waiting for us here with a biohazard squad? She said on the radio that something happened. A strange anxiety had overwhelmed me at once. I looked at Jenda and there. The city. There is no city. Yulia seemed to be surprised too. Surprised for real, so I didn't jump at her with questions. Having reached the camp leader's cabin, I stopped for a moment in hesitation. Images of possible events flashed before my eyes. However, I quickly pulled myself together. This is just some nonsense. There was nothing to support the idea of this science fiction story turning into a bloody thriller. I determinedly pulled the door handle and entered the cabin. No one was inside. Well, no point in staying here then. I rushed to the cabin of Uliana and Alisa. Is that a cat here or something like that? Without dwelling on my thoughts, I knocked on the door, but only silence responded. I walked around the cabin and looked in the window. It was empty. Well, that doesn't mean anything. They might have gone somewhere. I ran to the canteen. Maybe everybody decided to have a late dinner. However, the door was locked. I went back to the square and dropped on the bench, exhausted. Enough running, maybe? Yulia, who had followed me in silence, asked without much interest. Well, true. Why did I start panicking? For what if something actually had happened? Well, I'm hungry. I'll go look for something to eat. I didn't object, and in a moment Yulia suddenly disappeared in the night. It's either some stupid prank, which was hard to believe, or everyone really has disappeared somewhere. The event itself isn't any stranger than my arrival here, or that mysterious city which showed up and then vanished, but I'd gotten used to this camp and its inhabitants, and now such a twist. I'd more or less adapted to my new circumstances, and now something happens again. I cursed and covered my face with my hands. I would probably have sat like that for several minutes until tears started to flow, but my eardrums were almost broken by a loud noise. It sounded like a thunderclap. But where did it come from? There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I opened my eyes and saw someone in front of me. That piece of shit! Ew. Ew. I uttered, stammering. A thunderstorm rumbled in the clear sky, the lightning flashes, obscuring the face of the man standing before me. Why the sad face, Semyon? Who are you? I shouted. Calm down, you don't have to get too tense. Nervous cells don't regenerate, you know. My first thought was to run, but my body didn't respond to that idea. The lightning was still flashing brightly, and there was no chance to see the pioneer's face clearly. However, I was sure that I had heard that voice before. Who are you? I asked in quieter tone. Perhaps you have more appropriate questions? Where has everyone disappeared to? They have played their parts and we don't need them anymore. Parts? What parts? Their parts. And what about the city? What city? I wasn't sure whether I caught the rise of surprise in his voice or I was just hearing things. The city. There. I waved my hand in the direction of Jenda. You are talking about. He went silent for a moment. It's your fault. I don't understand. It's because you don't try hard enough. The pioneer raised his voice. You just need to think. Just think. How long have you been here? 5 days? 6? Or 26? 6, probably. 6? Why 6? Are you sure about 6? Why are you sure? Because you counted the number of dusks and dawns, or because you looked at the date on your mobile phone? I don't know. The pioneer before me lost his temper. I had no clue what he was talking about. 6, okay, let it be 6, he said calmly. And haven't you been here before? No. Are you sure about that too? I don't know. And what if I say that you've been here before? I had absolutely no idea how to react to his words. Something was happening to me, like on the first day here. Something inexplicable, terrifying and maybe dangerous. But I don't remember. Why do you have to remember? He fell silent, seemed lost in thought. However, you really don't remember. Well, I will tell you then. I could hardly hear his words through the sound of thunder. My eyes were getting clear because of the lightning flashes, but I was afraid to even blink and gave the spioner a chance to disappear. He might really tell me how I turned up here. This is not the first time you've been here. I know how many lamps you had, but it doesn't matter. But wait, I don't remember anything. You should not remember. You should not. He shouted. Sorry. I decided not to interrupt him. Yeah, it is not your first time here. He continued in a calmer voice. But this time is special. It will be the last one for you. I couldn't understand what his definition of the word last was. Will I get out of him and return to my normal life, or does it mean that I will die here? Well, that's only my opinion. He went silent for a long time. I decided to ask a question at last. How do you know all this? How? Let's say that I am your brother in misfortune, and... An explosion sounded nearby. It seemed like lightning struck a tree just a dozen meters away from me. I instinctively covered my head with hands and fell beneath the bench. I don't know how long I was lying there, but by the time I had slightly recovered from the shock, the thunderclaps had stopped. I opened my eyes. Yulia was standing where the pioneer had been standing before. So, you have met your colleague? She smiled and offered me a hand. Shocked, I didn't know what to do and kept lying down. How long are you planning to stay there? I stood up with difficulty. Who was that? If I have to choose the lesser evil, then I would rather trust Yulia than that mysterious pioneer. Well, how should I put it? She got lost in thought. You know, you are not the only one. To be more precise, you are the only one here, but there are more of the same camp, lots of them, and there are more of the same you, a lot of them too. I didn't understand anything. I know about that already. Some of them can appear in the other places, like this pioneer, for example. So you knew all that, but didn't tell me. You didn't ask. She shrugged her shoulders. Should I be afraid of him? I don't think you should. Although... Should I or should I not? My anxiety grew. I doubt that he can take a physical form. But you should be careful with him. I had received so much information at once that I would need more than a week to comprehend it all. For keeping all that in mind, I understood that this information doesn't explain anything at all. So, there are lots of people like me. Yeah. But how did we get here? I don't have an exact answer for the question. I just know that it is you who came here. Just one person came here, to be more precise. Yulia now looked nothing like that strange girl with animal ears who was sprinkling sugar on mushrooms. She was the exact opposite. There was confidence in her eyes, and even some arrogance, and no sign of her earlier childish infantilism. And I think... Alright. The cable was stuck. Who are you then? Me? Yeah. Honestly, I have no idea. I stared at her with an open mouth. How's that? You have no idea? The only thing I remember is that I was here. I don't remember anything else, like there was nothing else. I must watch you, all of you, and I exist in all camps simultaneously. After recovering from my shock, I continued. And you don't know who you are. Bingo! She laughed. But that's impossible. Well, I would understand amnesia, but all-powerful beings can't have it. And who told you that I am all-powerful? Are you not? Actually, I'm capable of nothing. I can't interfere with the natural flow of events. But didn't you know or see? I know a bit of something. I saw a bit of something. And what will... Well, you know. I had no idea how to put the question. Nothing. Usually 7 days pass and one of you leaves the camp. Everyone say disappears. Then a new one comes and everything repeats. The number of camps is constant. We spoke about this before. Disappears. Where? I don't know. That can't be possible. You told me so much and... Do you think that I'm hiding something from you? No, I said, exhausted. I guess I shouldn't doubt her words. At least for now. Maybe they don't disappear, they just go for another land. I can't rule out that possibility, but I don't think they do. And what is happening to me now then? I can't explain this either, but I know for sure that this was meant to happen, and this is something unusual. The course of events is different this time. The pioneer spoke about it too. He might know more than me. But how should I understand all of this? I sighed deeply and covered my head with my hands. I think we'll find it out very soon. Okay, but finally, who are you then? Yulia pouted her lips. I told you before. So, do you have memory loss then? No. She thought for a moment. I don't have a memory at all, probably. There was no me before this camp. I didn't exist. But I didn't finish the sentence. Taking into account everything that happens here, there was a lot I could only make assumptions about. And that means I should not be surprised by a girl with animal ears. Are you something like an observer here? Probably. I think that word is the most appropriate. And what about all the inhabitants disappearing after playing their parts? What are you talking about? The pioneer said that. Parts? She moved her ears in a fun way, making me smile. There is something to it, because only you are real here. I mean, you, that pioneer, and all the others. How's that? I told you, I don't know. You can assume that I appeared here with a limited amount of knowledge, nothing more. There are things that I'm not sure about, and there are things that I know no more about than you. Fine. Well, on one hand, her words seemed logical enough. If you can even talk about logic in such a situation. And what do you suggest to do next? To wait and see how things will turn out? Yeah, you can't change anything. I mumbled. Anyway, it's dinner time. She smiled merrily and waved her tail. Didn't you go to look for something? I didn't find anything. I had no time. I saw the lightning and came back at once. Let's go. She went in the direction of the canteen. She'd better stick with me. It might be that there was no pioneer at all. And if I was the only one who can see him, then there would be less grounds to doubt my sanity, which was not feeling very secure lately. And so we are in the canteen, but that will be continued in the next episode. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one. Bye.